welcome back once again to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, coming to you from the Retro Wrestling Archive here in beautiful Gadsden, Alabama, along with producer Smokey behind the scenes, making it all happen. And of course, we can't do it without our co-hosts. First up, we're going to introduce our first one. You know him, you love him. It's the Nightmare Nephew himself, Josh Briley of P3 Radio. Josh, how are we doing, sir?
Man, doing pretty good this morning, Gino. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I had a long day yesterday, but it was pretty fun. We'll go
Oh,
ahead
fuck,
and
fuck. I got to cut you off, man. I got to cut you off. You introduced me. I've got to introduce you. You have a new accolade. You are the new unified world heavyweight champion, Gene Jackson. Dude, I am so jealous of you right now.
yeah, you can see it kind of back behind me over my shoulder there, laying on that. I'll have to grab it up later and put it on screen because yeah, I'm pretty psyched to be the new unified heavyweight champion now. See the king, Jerry Lawler. Yeah, that was a big win. We'll talk about that later in the show, perhaps. But right now, let's bring on our other co-host. He's the owner, founder, and president of STSpod.club. He's one of the co-hosts on the new Power Pro Wrestling Review podcast. And he's Jonesboro. I can't do it like him, dude. I don't have my voice doesn't go up an octave when I do it. So I'll just say it normal. Jonesboro, Arkansas's baby boy. Spoiler alert, it's Brian Trammell. What's up, BT?
Jonesboro, Arkansas. I don't know if I can do it this morning. I'm over here celebrating Boogie Woogie Weekend. Mercy, Daddy. Woo! Yeah. When you got it, you got it. You know that, right? I come in hot again today. My best friend Gene and my favorite co-host of P3 Radio, Josh. How the hell are y'all doing today?
Awesome. How you doing, BT?
I'm doing good. Jolly Roll sent me that check. Jolly Roll Furniture for my sponsorship. Spaghetti Warehouse. They used some freeze-dried shipping, and they sent me some spaghetti, some bread, and everything yesterday afternoon. Damn, I'm doing good, man. But I got some inside. Oh, well, okay. Not too inside because it was in Bert's book. But Bert had some stuff to say about what happened, how he left and everything. So I thought I would share it with y'all. First, Bert had talked about he was hired by Jeff Jarrett when he came in for that first time. Jeff really wanted him in. Bert said that he was a huge fan of Ronnie Gossett. He liked doing this. And he said Gossett was a ring rat in Nashville for years before he got into business. He said that Gossett got a big, I don't know if y'all have heard about this, but got a big insurance settlement when his mom died, but he fell in love with a stripper, and that stripper took all his money. So he ended up dying with no money whatsoever. He said that Eric told him he was getting too much heat at the shows. And he said when he said that, he knew that Eric was upset because people were hating on him and not hating on Eric. So he gave his notice, apparently that Saturday, because they didn't do Nashville that day or anything. He said he's never been fired from Memphis. He always left. He also said about Randy Rose, we talked about Randy a couple of times, Dusty apparently was aware of Randy, and Bert had, through somebody, tried to get Dusty to do something with Randy, and Dusty said no because there would be two Dustys, and he didn't want to split the time that he was over. He didn't want to split that up. No sense in telling the fans there's two Dustys. But Randy Rhodes, he said, Bert, in his book, did the gimmick 100% when he went to Puerto Rico. He was Dusty's brother, did the whole interviews and everything. So I thought that was all interesting. And I got some kind of bad news about Doug Vines. Apparently, Doug Vines has been very sick with heart problems, diabetes, and blood clots. He says, wife says they no longer have a car for doctor's appointments, and they're doing a GoFundMe. If you do that sort of thing, look up Doug Vines and GoFundMe. Give him some money. And I got a question for you guys. The dog catchers. Now, I remember us thinking we was told they were Vines and Sword, but were they the same team?
No.
There is the belief that they, in all of history, Dave wrote that, everybody on it, but that was not them, was it?
At no point was it them.
I don't know why they thought that, because also really quick, we had 2 deaths in April. Van Hammer. Y'all remember Van Hammer? We just talked about him, I think. And David Allen Cole. David Allen Cole's kind of got some wrestling. He was doing all those concerts. So thought I'd share that shit with y'all. I had a minute to go through all the observers for this month and found some fun stuff. And also with Bert's going to be able to tell us his side of the story with everything. If we see him coming back and everything.
And that segment is called Sharing the Shiznit with Brian. I think they missed the opportunity to do an NWO Sting type thing with Dusty Rhodes. With Randy Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes. You could have had all of a sudden Dusty's doing this messed up stuff helping heels, and then later we find out there's 2 Dustys, and they could have did the doink thing like at WrestleMania, you know, the mirror gimmick. Boy, wouldn't that have been a sight? And
he said that he believed Bert was like us in the sense that he thought he looked so much like Dusty that it was a travesty that he wasn't doing the gimmick. And then when he went to Puerto Rico, he just went right into it and did it. So,
well, you know, I've read that book too. And while Jeff Jarrett did want him in pretty bad, it turned out Fontaine wanted him in more.
He says Fontaine left, but didn't leave with him. And I don't know what that meant unless he wanted to get really pissy about it or something. So
kayfabe lives in the book, sir.
Yep.
Go ahead, Josh.
I was just a crude joke I was going to make about if Fontaine wasn't with Prentice when he came into the territory, maybe he just left his car whenever he met Bert, and then he drove his car home whenever he was leaving the territory. Left it parked there at TV5.
That's what we'll go with. So this week, we're going to. You mentioned that it was Jimmy Valiant weekend. Remind me to touch on that at the end.
All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
We have filibustered, as Dusty Rose said, for almost 8 minutes. We'll go ahead and get into this. October 5th, 1991, USWA Championship Wrestling. Dave Brown is solo. We'll see if he has as many issues as poor Michael St. John had when he had to fly solo recently. We're going to see, he says we're going to see Eric Embry. We're going to see Dr. Tom Pritchard, Billy Joe Travis, Robert Fuller, Superstar Bill Dundee, and someone called Eric's driver, Tony. And he wonders who that is, but he doesn't have to wonder long because the very first segment, here he comes.
Here right now involving Eric's driver, Tony. It sounds, of course, like something that Eric Embry is cool. I see Eric. That's Tony Falk right there. Is that Tony? Tony Falk, come here just a second. Tony, they've got you listed here as Eric's driver, Tony.
Hello, Dave Brown. Good to see you again.
Hello. Well, good to see you again, I guess. What is this all about here?
Well, see, I think you people just don't understand Eric Embry. I can tell you, I've been his friend a long time, Dave Brown, and he's been better to me than my own brothers have. And he's been having a hard time driving up and down these little hick country roads in Tennessee and Kentucky, going to some of these towns, because there's only 2 interstates up here. One runs east and west and north and south. The other one does. And he had to drive all night long just to get here. So from now on, I'm going to be driving Mr. Eric Embry every place he has to go.
As soon as we get a signal from the referee and Paul Neighbor says, let's go. Tony Falk, my goodness, he grabbed Dave Dowdy, wasted no time grabbing him, jabbed him in the throat, picks him up by the hair. Dowdy thrown into the turnbuckles. Tony Falk, a moment ago, mild-mannered Tony Falk out here, just polite as he could be. All of a sudden, he turns and grabs Dave Dowdy, and he hasn't let up for a second. Pulling, I saw the hair pulling for sure. Falk rams him into the turnbuckles once again. Dave Dowdy not having a very good day against Tony Falk. Tony using that forearm. That hair a lot. Dowdy again smacked into the turnbuckles. Tony Falk, he bulldogs him across the ring. Rolls him over. This may be it. 1, 2, and Tony Falk, or should I say Eric's driver, Tony.
What an awkward name, Eric's driver, Tony. But couple things, then I'm gonna pitch it to you guys. Number one, if you had held a camera in there and turned it on as Tony Falk walked into a library, it wouldn't have been any quieter than it was when he walked into that studio. You could hear a pin drop, dude.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was more quiet than a Japanese wrestling audience. Like it was like they thought it was fixing to be a goddamn school shooting or something. The way it was, he was coming out there and just everybody was scared to death or something. Maybe it was the hat.
Yeah, that's quite the get up he's got on there. But the next thing though that stood out to me, in all the years I've seen Boy Tony and through his, Cowboy Tony and just Tony Falk, and then years later, Two Falk for sure, and all that kind of stuff. I have never seen any version of Tony Falk this aggressive. He starts mauling this guy like he's freaking Stan Hansen. Is it just me, or did that stand out to you guys as well?
That's what I liked about it. He came out like even Dave was trying to drop the hints. He was all mild mannered, and now he's really aggressive and this and that. Like I like it. It's like that. Almost like what's the name of the big fat guy, Marvin Poindexter or
Melvin Penrod.
Melvin Penrod. There we go. Yeah, where he's nice schoolboy coming out there smiling, all fun and games, and then when the bell rings, it's like the switch, and he turned all mallish. I like it.
I liked it too, and I wrote down, I guess being a driver makes you more aggressive. I guess, you're driving somebody around, you're pissed off. So
he brings his road rage to the ring with him.
Yeah. I didn't know what happened. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, it's a squash match, and it's nothing that I want to see. And all of a sudden, Tony turned into a psycho. I was like, what the fuck just happened? So I had to watch it.
Well, we've noticed and talked about so much over on the Power Pro review show how loud that studio crowd is. It's so noticeable. But in comparison now, it makes it super noticeable to me on some of these USWA segments how quiet the crowd is. And this one just definitely stood out to me. So I don't know.
It was like one of your friends walked in and he's wearing something really weird, and all your friends around you don't really want to say anything, so everybody's real quiet.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that.
Well, I don't either. I always make fun of all my friends, so there you go.
Yeah.
If you've never had your friends experience that with your friends, then you're the weird friend that walked in with them.
Oh shit, that's what happened, didn't it?
Spoiler alert there, Brian. But
damn.
So we have this in 1991. I would dare say one of our favorite angles, at least mine anyway, was Uncle Danny and Bill Dundee fighting over the light heavyweight title. And then, Bull Payne interfered in their last match, causing Dundee Davis to win. He made the trip to Japan. So he's been away. So that just kind of went away. So I guess they decided, all right, Dundee Davis is back. Dundee's here. Let's just put a bow on this so there's nobody sitting out here waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, oh, when's Dundee going to attack Dundee Davis? When's this shit going to blow up again? So let's take a look at this promo because we watched everything else in the angle and kind of broke it down. I feel it's appropriate we watch this promo to kind of see how they, like I say, put a bow on it and wrap it up, at least for now.
Something's been bothering me for the past few weeks. Everybody knows that several weeks ago, Bill Dundee and myself had some very tough, very hard-fought wrestling matches and some fights. Mm-hmm. One thing that come out of all that is I found out that he was a tough man, and he found out that I was a tough man. But what we were fighting about was not only this, it was a trip to Japan to wrestle Japan's finest light heavyweight champion. Well, the way it happened was this. I've already talked to Bill about it, and I wanted Bill to come out here with me because I wanted to tell everybody exactly what happened. I did not have anything to do with Bull Payne interfering in that match that we had. I've told you that, and I want to make sure that everybody knows that because, hey, you're my friend. You have always been my friend. Even when we were fighting, I still thought of you as my friend. Well, no, Bill Dundee can believe it because, hey, when you've got a 13-hour plane ride and you're sitting there, you eat their food, you sleep on the plane, and you watch their movies, you wake up and you still got about 6 hours. Your mind gets to thinking. Well, you know, I've got a conscience, just like everybody here. Well, my conscience was telling me that this man right here, he was a champion. All he had to do was hold on to that title. He didn't have to beat me. I had to beat Bill Dundee. Well, I want you to know something, Bill. I did not beat you. Bull Payne beat you. I didn't. So rightfully, this belt right here still belongs to you as far as I'm concerned. You should have been the one going to Japan, not me. Okay? Now, there's something else I'd like to say, and this, you know, and I had some expenses over there. I made a good wage while I was over there. That's what the whole purpose of the trip was. Now, what I want to say to you right now is, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I want you to take whatever you want. Just let me keep my expenses. You can have a third of that money, you can have a half of that money, or you can have all of it. The choice is up to you. It don't make no difference to me because I want our friendship to mean everything. I want that above anything.
Well, Dan, let me tell you this, brother, and I'm going to talk to all you nice folks out there. You're going to say, oh, yeah, Dundee, you're crazy. Well, I've always believed this. You can't put a price on friendship. And I know you didn't have nothing to do with Bull Payne coming down there. Now, all I had to do was last the out. I don't know if I could have done it. And here's the other thing I don't know. If I had went to Japan, I don't know if I could have beat their top boy guy over there.
I know you could.
You obviously did it. You took the pounding. So what I'm saying to you in a nice way is I've never taken nothing for nothing in my life. I appreciate the offer. I was your friend before. I'm still your friend now. I told you that up front. We had a little mad at one another. Yeah. All I wanted was this belt and go to Japan. So all I'm going to say to you, brother, I'm still your friend. The offer was great, but thanks, but no thanks.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So what do you guys think of that promo and Bill's response? Is it what you were expecting?
Well, I mean, I liked it because I felt like, you know how Uncle Danny is. He's at this point, he hasn't been a heel since, I mean, aside from being, you know, a Galaxian or whatever the fuck. Like Nightmare Danny Davis has not been a heel since the mid 80s, what, 86, 87, something of that nature. Like,
Probably 80, yeah, probably 85, 86, honestly. I know he's baby all through 87.
So, you know, he doesn't want to be perceived that way at all. Because merchant, you know, selling gimmicks and stuff, that's a big deal.
He was big into that. He knew what he was doing with that way before everybody else did. So
yeah. And so, you know, even when the guy in the crowd said, "Don't believe that, Bill Dundee," he was like, "Oh no, you can believe it, Bill." Like he had to address that even. Like he was in such a babyface mode at this point, and he didn't want it to affect him at all, or the perception of Nightmare Danny Davis. He had to come out here and do this. And Bill, you know, he made it short and sweet, but like I may be the only one that thought this, but it looked like Bill had literally just like woke up from the car ride.
He got out from, he was back there where everybody else is shitting. He was taking a nap. So there you go.
he looked like he had car ride head.
He did. Like, he really did.
It's okay. But I thought that there's that little tiny part of me was like, what if Bill, you know, because, you know, Austin Idol cashed a big check at some point. So if Bill could have just been like, no, I want all the money, brother.
Give me every bit.
Took him to court. Like, no, you said it was on TV, brother. Like, I almost wanted that to happen. That'd
be the greatest rib ever.
Oh my God.
I like
it's almost like like Danny's like, hey, me and Bill need to go do this promo, and they're like, where's Bill? I'm like, I think he's asleep in his car. Somebody go grab him. And here he comes out there. Oh no, brother, just keep it. It's money's not everything, and let's be friends, whatever. Okay.
I thought it was different. Different than anything I guess we've ever seen, or I don't know if I've ever seen anyone do anything like this on television. What was Danny wearing? I don't know what that little vest he was wearing. Oh, that was hilarious to me.
I remember my granny making all that shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do not remember the floral print tights.
But the vest, I want one of those. So yeah.
Some of the combinations he would do sometimes make him, is he a bit colorblind? Like he had a red vest. Everything else on him is purple, and he's got a red vest on with gold trim. Like, or that's just all he had in the bag this week. But you know, you made mention of like what a big deal merch was, and like pictures, especially at that point. And man, Your uncle was the king of that, because I can remember as a little kid going over to the gimmick tables in Columbus when Continental would come. And you'd see so Dr. Tom would be there and he'd have 5 pictures, and one would be in his satin jacket, and then a couple would be in his airbrush t-shirt, and then maybe just one of him in some blue jeans and a jacket or something. But that was pretty, normal stuff. You go to your uncle's table, and he did 10 or 12 pictures. And they were all so colorful because each one, his star would be a different color. And he's got these different wild looking outfits on. And as a kid, I probably somewhere, if I can find them, I found a couple here and there. But I mean, I never went to a Continental show that I didn't buy at least one, if not 2, Danny Davis pictures, because you could have so many different ones with so many different combinations and colors of stars, and the design sometimes would be different and shit.
Do you remember the buttons? Buttons were a big deal, and he would have the pictures. And dude, I found one not long ago. He would autograph them and then make the button. And I used to help him make buttons and shit when he would come into town or whatever. And he had this apparatus. Him and my granny would have that shit in the living room, and I could do the punching part of it, whatever the fuck that was. That's all I remember about it. But yeah, I found one of those buttons not long ago.
There's a box somewhere with all my stuff in it, because I've got a Danny Davis button, a Lord Humongous button.
Oh wow,
tons of pictures. But yeah, I do remember those. But those buttons, I had a denim jacket, and it had all kinds wrestling ones. I had Art Simpson and all this type of shit on there. That was a huge thing at one time.
Yeah, I mean, Danny may have learned, the baby faces in Memphis. That was always a big deal. Mr. and Mrs. Coffee had the gimmicks table, and they would go out. Doug and Tommy talked about it on the new show. They would go out and that, man, I saw Jeff Jarrett make a bunch of money. I've seen a bunch of baby faces make money. And a guy like Lawler would only be out there for, 30 minutes, and he would always have a huge line. But Ken Wayne talked about, he would just give him envelopes of money. Ken didn't even do anything. He didn't care how many photos he sold. He didn't care what he sold them for. He just got the money. And your uncle would just give it to him at the end of the night during their Continental run. And Ken had found an envelope full of ones one time in a bin that he had some of his old wrestling gear and stuff in. He said, I'm going through there, and there's a whole envelope of ones. And I'm like, well, hey, that's a good thing, finding money. But yeah, he was, man. When he went to OVW, he got that T-shirt machine. Everybody had a T-shirt. Everybody had photographs, the whole 9 yards. So, yeah, he was the Young Bucks before the Young Bucks kind of thing. So
that's where it's at. I don't know if you guys have witnessed this, but in recent times, I'll be on an indie show and I'll walk around through there and see what's up. Now you'll see tables with referees with T-shirts and pictures and hats and shit. I've seen referees, ring announcers. We don't have the ring crew eventually selling gimmicks out here. That's crazy. I mean, if you can sell them, more power to you. But the fact that that's even a thing, they'll be like, oh, that's my favorite referee. I got to get his, shirt, or that ring announcer. Just think all the merch Howard Finkel missed out on that he could have been racking up back in the day.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So this next clip, I was kind of blending this whole angle together because it involves all these different people. And I'm like, man, instead of chopping this up into a few different clips, this is going to be one sort of long clip. So BT, if you need to make a bathroom break or do your taxes or something, this is going to be a few minutes. So fair warning. Here we go.
Can I come back with my shirt off?
No, I did not say the magic words. And don't say it. The referee who shall not be named. We can't say his name anymore, Josh, because BT's clothes start coming off when he hears it. And if people hadn't followed the show for a long time to know why that is, that's got to be weird, because we referenced it on the Power Pro show with no context. So these folks just heard that when BT hears the name Paul Neighbors, he starts stripping, and they're like, oh.
He's like
about Paul Neighbors.
He's like a fucking sleeper cell or something. That's the code word.
That is. It's a code word. Yeah.
All right.
Did you say Paul Neighbors?
No. When I first came back here, I'd heard so much about Eric Embry. I've heard so much about the flamboyant one, that he had done this. And he had done that, and he beat this guy, and he beat this guy, and I heard people say, hey, when you climb in the ring with Eric Embry, you don't know how it's going to come out. You may not even make it out in one piece. So when I got here, I was sitting in the dressing room one night, and there was Lawler sitting in that corner, and Jarrett and Fuller over here, and we were just talking back and forth, and I said something like, that Eric Embry's a pretty tough guy. And they all looked at me like I'd spit on the Pope. I said, what's the matter? He's not tough? They said, no. Who told you that? I said, that's just what I heard. They said, no, you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong, Dutch. He's not a tough guy. And then I had a match with him. And now I know I was wrong, because he ain't a tough guy. Lawler was sitting there that night. He said, Dutch, he couldn't whoop your old lady. It made me sort of hot at Lawler. I said, hey, what do you think I'm married to? Some kind of Amazon or something? He says, no, but now I know he can't beat my old lady. Embry, all you are is a big, fat, obnoxious, out of shape, big mouth, low-life, egg-sucking dog. Now, I know I probably left some things out there, but that's exactly what you are, and I bet if you polled the wrestling fans, they'd all agree with me 90%.
But you know something, Dutch? I saw you get down on the floor of this studio and talk about how low you can get. I saw you get down and say, let's get low, let's get down and dirty, Dutch. Well, I'll tell you this. If you want to get low and you want to get down and dirty, you're looking at a guy who's not only low, I'm unfaithful, I'm unloyal, I'm every dirty, despicable word in the dictionary that you want to talk about. And people like you, Dutch Mantell, you turn my stomach. And you talk about great athletes. I don't appreciate anybody, a wannabe Texan like you, talking about a great Texan like Eric Embry and myself. You know what's happened, Tommy? You know what's happened? Eddie Marlin's rubbing off on Dutch Mantell, man. Eddie Marlin's running off you, man.
Let me stop you, since you mentioned Eddie Marlin, as a matter of fact. You've got more problems than just Dutch Mantell. After what you did to Eddie Marlin, here's what Eddie has to say about it. You watch this.
That's right.
Thanks, Dave. I won't take but a minute of your time. This interview is primarily for Eric Embry. And Eric, I hope you're watching. I hope you see it and can hear it. You notice I'm sitting at my desk in the office. And the main reason I came into the office today was to write out your termination papers. And as I got started, the phone rang. It was Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. Jeff said, what are you doing, Pops? And I said, I'm getting rid of Eric Embry. I've had it. I've took all I can take from Eric Embry. He said, no, Pops, please, don't get rid of him. Give us this one match with him. So after I hung up, I was sitting here writing. I was thinking, well, I fire him. He'll just go to some other company. Maybe he won't make as much money, but he'll still be wrestling. And if I give Jeff and Robert the match, then I'll probably get the satisfaction of sitting Eric Embry and hopefully watching them drop you on your head on that concrete floor, just like you did me. The doctor says I'm all right. I take this brace off. I'm not going to sign a match, Eddie Marlin and Eric Embry. But I'm going to tell you one thing, Eric Embry. It's not over, big man, between you and me. I'll see you somewhere, and you will pay. That's a promise.
Eddie Marlin with word.
Shut up! Twice you've interrupted me, man. Now, Eddie Marlin, if you can see my boots, you can see that I'm just shaking to death in them, man. And you've had it up to your neck with me. You gotta fire me. Why don't you fire me, Eddie Marlin? Why don't you fire me, man? Because you ain't got the guts. Because I'd take the Southern Heavyweight title out of here and it'd go down in the history books that nobody, and I mean nobody, ever pinned flamboyant Eric Embry's shoulders to the mat. Now, big hot shot Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett. Golden boy, simply irresistible. Whatever you are, you're still a snotty-nosed punk, Jeff Jarrett. Now, We've roughed up his grandpa. And you gonna come to the rescue of grandpa with that Tennessee stud. Well, it's real simple, Dave Brown. There ain't no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could keep on counting. People on the face of God's green earth that can beat Eric Embry and Tom Pritchard. So, Eddie Marlin, you keep lining them up. But like you said, one shot, one match Fuller, one match Jarrett. That's all you guys are getting is one shot. And Eddie Marlin, I hope to the man upstairs that the doctor tells you to take the brace off and come looking for me.
Whew. All right, there's a lot there to cover. So this all started, I didn't have a clip of that, but Pritchard and Embry had won a squash match, beating up a couple of guys, and they were pretty aggressive in that. And so then we go to the promo from Dutch Mantell. Now, my main takeaway from the Dutch Mantell promo, I'll see if you guys agree. When Dutch described that interaction in the dressing room with Lawler, Jarrett, and Fuller about Eric Embry, I know most promos are just bullshit. I 100% believe that conversation actually took place when Dutch first come in about, I hear Eric Embry's a tough guy. Like, Embry? No, he ain't no tough guy. Like, I can see that conversation happening in the dressing room. Do you agree or disagree with that stance?
I mean, with Dutch, you never know, honestly. Yeah. But I mean, I've never heard any stories of, oh yeah, Eric Embry whooped this sumbitch's ass. I mean, I don't think he's got a shoot reputation, like, you know, as being a fucking, you know, Billy Robinson or whatever. But his character, 100%, yeah, I would have thought, yeah, you would perceive him as a tough guy because, you know, how aggressive he is and stuff like that. But that's not what Dutch would have been doing. So I don't know, but I enjoyed this entire thing. I like that Tom Pritchard wrestled in the chaps, which are assless, by the way, June.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, because as I once learned, all chaps are
assless. Yep.
Absolutely. And I liked how they kind of presented it, you know, Dutch Mantell doing this, doing that. I didn't like that they didn't really bite on what Dutch was trying to manipulate them into doing. It's almost like, you know, the way Lawler would sometimes blow off some mail-in promos of a big match or whatever. You know, he'd just come out there and, oh, well, I'm going to beat his ass. And then I'm going to be in Brownsville today with the Lawler's Army. Like, he would just blow by him. I almost felt like they kind of blew by what Dutch was trying to create and stuff like that. And it may be because their main focus moving forward is Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett for right now. So, but still, I thought, you know, as tidbit oriented as Embry is, you figure he would have wanted to play into it a little bit. But yeah, I liked how they're done with Embry, and Eddie Marlin was fixing to lay the hammer down, terminate him. They saved his ass. I like all the drama that this is bringing out.
I mean, didn't Eddie Marlin try to do that like 6 weeks ago, though? Did the same thing? Who was it that made him? Lawler said, don't fire him or something like that. Mm-hmm. The only thing about, I really liked all this stuff, though, but the only thing about the Mantell walking in the dressing room, I could see everyone sitting there except Jerry Lawler, because if you know Jerry Lawler, he has a dressing room separated in every arena, so he's by himself. So that was untrue what had happened. So, but Dutch, you know, Dutch tells a good story. He's always good on the microphone. This Eddie Marlin thing felt to me like he's coming after Eric Embry. I don't believe it as much, but it reminds me of what Bill Watts used to do. You know, Bill would draw big money by just coming out maybe once a year, was it? And I don't know if Marlin's going to mean that. So.
Well, you know, Marlin's a superstar as he describes because he's got a real neck brace on.
Oh yeah, he does. No towel. Yeah, you're right.
Words for neck braces unless you're a superstar. I want to circle back to something else too. Do you guys feel like that whole thing where we're teasing the friction between Pritchard and Embry was all just, this is where they were headed, just for Tom to show back up and rejoin Embry? Or Do you think they were getting ready to pull the trigger on a feud between Pritchard and Embry, Burt and his guys up and quit, and now we need a tag team for Jarrett and Fuller? So let's hold off, Pritchard. When you come back, we're not going to do the feud yet.
I don't really know in this situation, honestly. I mean, I think it could have been more or less trying to what we was thinking about before. That it was just a function to keep Tom's name alive.
Yeah.
While he was, 3 weeks in Japan or a month, whatever it was. And maybe that's why they kind of chose not to even acknowledge it, even though Dutch said something, is because, Tom did do the mail-in promo, but that's like still latching onto it. But now that he's back, he seems like they're like, fuck that. We're not even going to acknowledge that.
That's what makes it seem like a pivot to me, like that, like they were going to do that feud, and now we've had to change gears because somebody quit. I mean, there's no way of knowing that unless we talk to somebody who was there and they remember it. But that's just how it seems to me. I would think if that had been the plan all along, then they'd be like, "Oh, we tricked you. Y'all thought we was gonna fight. Fuck y'all, haha." That kind of. But they just kind of moved past it and didn't mention it, like you said, other than Dutch. What do you think, BT?
I don't know. I mean, you're right. It could have just been something. I love the whole, the way they did it. I love the idea that we all was watching Tom and where's Tom at, and he's Eric's making it think like he's nervous about it. He's got to talk to him, and then when Tom returns, he just is really a heel. So when he gets in the ring, apparently, at the Mid-South Coliseum, everybody thinks Tom's going to get to Eric, and he did the opposite. I like the way it was done. There's like you said, there is a possibility that the change of plans happens, right?
So after this, we get the card for Monday night, and we'll go through the card later, but if they'd read the card like right at the beginning of the show, I would have had to look and be like, is this the right week? Did I click on the wrong show?
Right.
Because all of a sudden, just out of the clear blue sky, Jerry Lawler is wrestling Eddie Gilbert in a title versus title match. And last time Eddie was here, he was a babyface in a heated feud with Eric Embry, and then he was just gone. And Embry's mentioned him randomly in a couple of promos, and then now all of a sudden he's here as the global champion. And he's not exactly a heel, at least not at first, but I don't know. This just seems so random, but that's kind of how Eddie Gilbert would come and go from Memphis, would be randomly. And we'll talk more about that here in a moment when we get to that segment. But next up, we've got a tag team match. Billy Joe Travis comes out, and he challenges Lawler to a singing contest during intermission at the Mid-South Coliseum this coming Monday night, which very much reminded me of the singing with Burt and the what was Don Bass calling himself with the mask? And
the Rock and Roll Phantom.
Yes, the Rock and Roll Phantom. And I still wish we had a whole segment of that from the Coliseum. But anyway. So he makes that challenge as he and Randy Rhodes are a tag team today because, again, Randy Rhodes' tag team partner has left just coincidentally at the same time as Burt Prentice. No real reason. And they're taking on sort of maybe kind of pushed Freezer Thompson and Chris Frazier. And they pretty much just dominate, Frazier. And Freezer gets a little bit of a comeback.
Fucking killed. Billy Travis slaps the shit out of him. I was like, did Josh go back in time and give him some money just to slap the shit out of Chris Frazier? Jesus. That was still y'all.
I feel like there was a pot somewhere. Like there was money continually going into a pot. And whoever was the guy who finally ran Chris Frazier out of the USWA was going to win that money. And each week, everybody took their best shot. And so far, nobody's done it.
Travis was trying his best, boy. Woo!
That guitar shot last week waylaid him pretty good. He's luring him out in this match. And, of course, Frazier comes in, gets a little something. And then, of course, Chris Frazier comes back in to get destroyed and pinned.
I thought it was funny because Travis acted like it was a shoot. Did you see? I mean, he was slapping him. And then when Randy got in, Randy just started working. I was like, that looks like two different matches there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Randy's
but
like, I ain't been around here long enough to be just shooting on folks. I'm gonna wrestle, even if it is Chris Frazier. So something I had noticed, and this made it stand out even more, when Pritchard and Embry were out here earlier, no Tojo, no mention of Tojo.
right.
And now, and what's apparently going to become a weekly segment, we got our weekly Eric Embry tries to recruit Frazier Thompson segment, but Tojo's not here. So guess who gets to be the new recruiter for Eric Embry's Texas bunch? Check this out.
There's some discussion going on. Let me see what this is right here.
Listen, man, Eric likes you a lot. He gave me the authority to come out here and ask you, do you want to make a deal with him right now? You can come back to the dressing room, to Eric's dressing room right now. I tell you, man, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Frazier. You can come on back right now, and I got the authority to make the deal for you.
Well, you know, Tony Falk, I don't care too much about Eric Embry. I think I'm going to stick right over here.
Once in a lifetime opportunity, says Tony Falk. I caught just, we had kind of a short microphone cord there, but I did catch part of it.
So other than changing the name Tojo to Tony, Frazier says verbatim, word for word, the exact response he said last week. So I feel like somebody had to rehearse with him. Here's what you're going to say. I don't care too much about Eric Embry. I'm just going to stay over here. That's what he said both times. But that was a clusterfuck. Like, I don't know if anybody knew that was coming, because Dave couldn't get a mic cord to reach over there to get the audio. And Eddie Gilbert walks into the frame just a moment with that belt, and then immediately gets back out because he realized, like, oh shit, they're doing something with Tony Falk and Frazier Thompson here. Like, I've been gone a while. Why the fuck is Frazier Thompson talking into a microphone?
Yeah, it's almost like they pulled the pull string on his ass and he just like repeated the same shit. Maybe that's what was holding Frazier back. It's like he gets the mechanics and how to bump, and he has good matches with guys, makes them look really good. But yeah, once you get a microphone in front of him, it terrifies him or something. I don't know. Like, because I don't think that Frazier has very much more sunlight after this, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
But I don't think so. And this might be the reason why.
I liked it.
Like,
I wished Frazier would have said, "What you talk about, Willis?" But other than that, I liked it.
I just feel like that's the only line he knows to say. So, like 6 months from now, if unexpectedly, like if Dave or somebody just put a microphone in front of him, hey, how things go in that match? Oh, I don't care too much for Eric Embry, and I'm just gonna stay over here. Like, Eric Embry's not here anymore. I don't care too much for Eric Embry, and I'm just gonna stay over here. Gotta teach him another line. So next up, and I'm not going to show this whole clip. If I know BT can see the length of clips, he's thinking, "Oh shit!" I'm just going to show the first minute or two of this. But I clipped the whole thing because I'm going to put the whole thing on the Facebook page afterwards. But so here comes Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert strolling back into the studio for the first time in several weeks, and he's got a belt with him that they're calling. Dave calls it the Global Heavyweight Title. Eddie refers to it as the Global Television Title because that is the title he had won. That's not the belt. That's not the Global Heavyweight Title. That's not the Global TV Title. It looks like one of the old Southern Heavyweight titles is what it looks like. They don't ever get a good shot of it. And if you notice, Eddie's got his hand right over the top of it where you would be reading what it was. So I'm guessing that Global wasn't letting people leave with their belts after the tapings. And later on, they're going to see that was a pretty good policy, because there will be a day that Eddie Gilbert will walk in and it will be a global title in his hand, but that's another story for another day. But let's take a look at just the first minute or two of this, just to kind of get a feel. This isn't Hot Stuff has returned and lit Lawler up with a fireball. Now we're going into a heated feud. He actually puts Lawler over at the beginning of this, and as it goes along, we get a little friction to make the match interesting. But check this out.
Eddie Gilbert is here with the Global Heavyweight belt in hand. Guys, I tell you what, let's do. Let's just, let's grab these chairs. We kind of rearrange. Billy Joe Travis has kind of messed up the studio here. Let's get some chairs back here. There's one for you, and here, King, grab that chair and come on back. Let's just sit here and chat just for a minute, because this is a situation coming up, or the possibility of a situation that I think is most interesting for the USWA and wrestling fans everywhere. Is that microphone? Can you get that microphone cable? Here you go. Okay. Yeah, pardon the rearranging of the furniture here.
My chair's a little bit lower than yours, Dave.
You want to swap chairs?
Here. No,
all right. Let's talk about the situation. You've got the global heavyweight title. Yes. The King, of course, as everyone knows, has the unified title. All started when you defeated the AWA champion for the belt, and then issued the challenge to all comers to unify the belt. The world-class champion took you up on it, and in the Chicago, Illinois, the titles were unified, and now we've got a chance to unify them even further, which I think is very exciting news for wrestling fans everywhere, King.
Well, I think so. You basically synopsized it, or whatever the word is. That was a pretty good job there. In May of 1988, I won this belt representing the AWA from Kurt Hennig. And then at that time, you know, there's always been a lot of organizations around wrestling that claim to have world champions. And at that particular time, there was myself representing the AWA.
All right, so we get the 5,000th rehash of 1988 and how the titles get unified. And Eddie at one point says that he was impressed that Lawler defends his title outside of his promotion, and it kind of goes from there. And they eventually kind of get argumentative. Lawler basically makes mention of the fact that one time Eddie was going around and calling himself a king, and then he rips Lawler off, and Eddie says, no, I don't, that's not the case. And then Lawler's like, well, what if I come out here with flames on my tights and call myself Hot Stuff Jerry Lawler? Would that be ripping you off? And he has no choice to go. But Eddie goes, oh, yeah, I guess so. So they kind of get to arguing. Eventually, Dave was like, well, this ain't getting anywhere. Let's fuck off from this. And so they kind of just end it there. But something I do want to show a quick clip of, because we started in 93, we jumped back to 91, and we did kind of a recap of 1990, but we've never really watched this on this show. And this has a really great slow motion replay of the famous hit and run angle with the Gilberts and Jerry Lawler. And watch the slow-mo of this, and you see Lawler's head hit the top of the car.
Oh, damn.
If you're watching on video, watch this. If you're listening.
Hit by the car. Right straight, never turned the wheel. The heel's headed straight ahead as he nails Jerry. Jerry had tried to jump out of the way, but he still got him with the left side of that automobile.
Damn.
That's still the craziest thing ever attempted in wrestling. I mean, anything beyond that, they might have done different things over the years with stunt doubles and closed sets and all. This was just winging it in the parking lot of the TV5 studio. No matter how many times I see that, I'm always just like, that is the wildest thing anybody's ever even considered doing. But when you watch that, you can see that car kind of squat where Eddie just punched it. It kind of goes down and then just like it's shot out of a damn rocket. Crazy.
Yeah, Eddie wanted to be king, so that's the only way.
Might as well, Jerry. The thing I've always thought about is a conversation, you know. Hey, we was thinking we run over you. And then Jerry saying, okay, sounds good. That's the part. I mean, you can come up with some crazy fucking ideas, but you always usually have that other person go, nah, I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
But Lawler said, hey, I'll do it. I always thought that was the crazy part. Not that they ran over him, it's that Lawler agreed.
And even more so than that, you've heard the Barnett interview where Eddie talks about that, right?
Yes. I got that
And
on
Eddie
my
says,
yeah.
we've done everything but hit you with a car. And this is the part that shocked me. Lawler said, I did a stunt in high school one time where somebody hit me with a car. We could probably pull that off. I'm like, okay, it's not just crazy you agreed to let Eddie Gilbert hit you with a car. You had already done this one time before and was willing to do it again.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. By the way, Gilbert won this belt the night before TV. In Dallas at Sportatorium, there was like only 697 people there, and he beat Handsome Stranger for the belt. But I was real confused about this title, and you kind of, but they called it a world title, a world TV title, a global title. But this was the GWF TV title, right?
Yeah, because they had a GWF TV title, and
or
they
he
had a
was the
North
champion.
American
That wasn't
title.
the title, but yeah.
Yeah, well, he was the TV champion, and they had a North American champion.
Okay.
And so, I mean, spoiler, but this is a good ways down the line. He comes back in with the actual North American title belt, but they're still calling it the Global World Heavyweight title at that point. So there's a lot of confusion about what the global titles are, but that is clearly, if you've ever seen any of those global belts, that's none of the global belts. That looks like, I don't know, a more recent version of the Southern Heavyweight title.
I agree. That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
So after that, we get Uncle Danny beating the Scorpion. The name I was trying to come up with the last time we talked about the Scorpion, I talked to Tony Myers last week, and he's somebody that's I'm gonna interview him sometime because he's a wealth of knowledge of Memphis wrestling. Because he was there from '95 through the end, but he had been such a fan and a tape trader, like he picked everybody's brains and would ask all these, a lot of guys are like, why do you ask all these marked questions? It's like, because I want to know. And so he would find out all these different things from different people. So he told me who a lot of masked people were that we didn't necessarily know in '93. He's going through watching those now. And he's like, that's what started this whole conversation. He's like, hey, here's some identities of some people I've heard y'all asking about. The Scorpion is a guy named Pat Hutchison who had been around. And so
I know him. Yeah.
That was the name I was trying to come up. I think I said a different name and you shot it down. But I was looking for Pat Hutchison. So anyway, that's who the Scorpion is. And Uncle Danny is going for his mask like repeatedly. Like the whole theme of this match is Uncle Danny's trying to get his mask off. And then eventually he hits the Rude Awakening neck breaker. And him and the referee, who shall not be named, were having a heated argument after the match about how much he was trying to take the mask off. So we'll see where we're going with that. I feel like it's relevant to the fact for the last couple of Monday nights, we've been seeing him against like random goons and different folks. And I know Scorpion had stepped in for, Mystery Goon last week. So this might have been a continuation of something people saw at the Coliseum the previous Monday night. I don't know, but I didn't take a clip of it because this is just your typical Uncle Danny who's wearing out a jobber, except this time he's trying to get his mask off in the process.
I wish you would get a clip. The Scorpion was styling, y'all. Did you notice? White boot, black boot.
He's always like that.
Yeah.
I never noticed that. I really had.
Yeah, he's like the Rick Steiner of mask guys as far as
there you go.
Yep.
Same work.
Maybe Uncle Danny was watching TV last week and he saw how much the crowd liked Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett trying to demask the Texas Outlaws. And he thought maybe he misread the situation, thinking, well, that's what they want. They want to see masked guys getting unmasked.
This will get over like crazy. Oh, yep, for sure. So then we get a recap of the card. We get a promo from the Dirty White Boy. He's after Embry and Pritchard as well, still. Then we get a segment with Jerry Lawler and the Nunnery Brothers, which now we realize that's the whole point of this Billy Joe Travis singing challenge, because Lawler's buddies, the Nunnery Brothers, are coming.
They look like the Keebler elves. They were so tiny. And they look so out of place. Like,
yeah.
I can't imagine those guys being musicians.
Yeah.
They got to be studio musicians.
They are. They was on. I was fixing to say they was on a lot of records during that time. In this, like you said, studio musicians. I almost said magicians.
Magicians.
It's a studio magician. They were doing tricks. So there you go.
I had some interaction with one of them here a few months ago. He messaged me asking for some footage that he needed of him and Lawler on something.
Oh, wow.
And he needed me to sign a release and send it to him. Like, dude, I don't have to release this to you. I don't own it. He goes, but yeah, you're the only one that's got it. And we're using it on TV5 for a segment about Lawler, and they will not run anything without a release. I'm like, but I don't have. He's like, will you just please just sign it? And I was like, all right. So I printed one. I was at work, printed one out, signed a different name to it. I think I may have signed Smokey Jackson or something on there, and then sent it to him. And he's like, thank you, sir. And I don't know if they ever used it or what, because it was like 6 weeks out before they were going to use it. But I'm like, I've had several people like have messaged me wanting, I'm like the source for like USWA era footage now, but I'm like, I ain't got any rights to sign over release forms to it. Like, do what you want with it. I did, but
you should have signed him Larry Burton.
I should have said, okay, I'll sign you the release, but that will be $150. That's my fee.
Oh, that's what yeah, you could have charged. Damn. By the way, this quality of this show was fantastic. It was above all the other ones. I don't know what was going on. Who taped this one, it was crystal clear.
Yeah, and that's because I didn't even do any screenshots of like the most 2 recent shows because the screen quality was just trash. But yeah, this looks tremendous. And up next we got Robert Fuller comes out to cut a promo, and he mentions early on that Jeff Jarrett isn't here. And boy, if we haven't, we learned in the past, poor old Richard Lee learned the hard way a couple of times, and a number of other people. If you ever announce my partner's not here, you are going to get your ass whooped, even if you are the Tennessee State.
That's it, boys. Here they come.
That's it.
Get out of here. You're talking about the #1 tag team. Well, how come you don't have one of these strapped around your waist? You know what I'm saying? You know those magazines? The Texas Outlaws out here under the mask. Whoa, Robert got the mask off of one of them. See if we can see who he is. Well, he got it back on a little too quick there. Robert and Jeff are convinced they're the barroom brawlers, and I haven't seen anything to convince me otherwise. Robert Fuller picking up the chair. Yeah, those guys know how to use chairs too. Robert fires Bull Payne into the turnbuckle. Nails him coming off. Oh, come on. The Texas Outlaws back out here. That's going to be a disqualification on Bull Payne as they head for Robert Fuller. And Robert, by himself, having to take on 3 of them. Jeff Jarrett not here today, as Robert said. Oh, my goodness, here comes Pritchard and Embry. It is 5 against 1. 5 of them working on Robert Fuller. Fuller out of the ring, down on the floor. Pritchard and Embry grabbing him. I'm sure they heard Robert say that Jeff was working out in the gym, and they decided great opportunity for us to come out and work him over too. Look at that, Pritchard and the Outlaws holding him while Eric Embry pounds him. Help is on the way with a chair in hand. There comes the King. There go those guys out of there. Boy, I tell you.
Yeah, Jeff was in the gym. I was listening to an old one of our 93 episodes of Driving yesterday, and it was one where Richard Lee comes out there like, my dogs are at the gym today, and I'm here by myself. And they beat the living shit out of him and broke his arm and all this crap. And we had such a good time with what that was like the least believable excuse of all time of where the Moondogs would be at the freaking gym. I can believe Jeff was in the gym the way he looked in this era, but not so much the Moondogs. But that beginning of that, was that not some of the weakest looking shit you've ever seen from any of those guys? It was almost bizarre. That first shot that Fuller threw and the first few shots that the Outlaws / barroom brawlers threw, it just looked, I don't know, just super, super weak. And then that chair shot he gave him across the back made up for it. But man, it got off to a slow start.
Yeah, and again with the mask pulling, he demasked the redheaded one.
Snatched it off his head. Do you think that was an accident, or
it had to have been, because the way that he was grabbing both of their hoods, and he would. Sorry, my computer's dying at this second. I'm gonna have to plug it back up. That threw my cadence off there. But yeah, he was grabbing the mask, and he was. He would punch him. It's like I guess the guy just backed on up and backed right out.
Head went and the mask stayed.
The whole crowd popped though. Like that's the kind of demasking they want to see. But yeah, I just, it seemed like it was pretty damn weak at the beginning, but God almighty, I loved seeing the one barroom brawler get hung up in the curtains trying to find his way out. Robert Fuller hit him so hard with that chair that he knocked his ass silly. But yeah, I like the way it ended, but God, I laughed so hard watching this back because Lawler comes out, and I expected the little tea pitcher looking silver thing, but no, he had the fucking chair from the phlebotomist clinic. Like
that was from the secretary there is what he got.
It took so much out of the situation, dude.
Yeah.
So much. It did so much damage. He would have been better just coming out with a mop, like, or something. But that looks so non-threatening.
Absolutely. So Lawler's pretty fired up now, and so he challenges Eric Embry to an impromptu match, and this whole thing only lasts like 3 minutes, so we're just going to watch this whole thing real quick, and then we're going to start wrapping things up. But here it is, the long-awaited match, the big feud that's always been simmering underneath all the other feuds that are going on. Lawler versus Embry on TV with a bit of a surprising ending.
Have been trying to run roughshod over everybody for too long around here now. I listened to Eddie Marlin earlier today say that he should fire you. Well, yeah, maybe he should, but a lot of people have been asking him not to. Well, that's right, because everybody wants a little piece of you, Eric Embry. Everybody wants to be the one to get rid of you once and for all. And you're out here spouting off, saying that nobody's ever beaten Eric Embry. Well, why don't we just do this, Eric Embry? Why don't we not wait to any arenas? Why don't you just get your big fat rear end out here right now, and let's just see if anybody can beat Eric Embry. We don't have to have a tag match. We don't have to have anything, but we don't have to have a referee. Let's just, come on, Eric Embry. Let's go. Get in the ring. You say nobody's ever beat you? Well, you can't beat me, punk. Well, so we'll see who gets beat.
I don't believe what I'm seeing. Embry actually came out here and answered the challenge. There they go. Referee is in the ring. We've got a match. A single match here. Eric Embry against Jerry Lawler. You're seeing it right in front of your eyes right now on TV. Lawler issued the challenge, and Embry answered. But look at this. Lawler. Oh, my goodness. Smack. Eric Embry. There's that right hand again. Embry takes a swing with the right hand. He didn't connect very well, but Lawler connected. Eric Embry hits the mat. A DDT by Lawler. Lawler in with a left. Embry grabs it, forces it back into the corner. He's using a right fist. Lawler comes back with a big right hand after a boot, and Embry is staggered. Lawler fires that head into the turnbuckle. Embry appears to be just about out on his feet, trying to shake it off. Lawler. Referee saying, don't do it. Lawler's considering a pile driver. Paul Neighbors says, don't do it. Embry, with a fist to the midsection and then right under the chin. He caught Jerry with a right fist.
Leave him alone, referee.
The King. Right hand nails Embry. Embry threw him into the referee. He was trying to fire him over to the corner and went right into Paul Neighbors. Jerry over on the ropes now. Embry using that middle rope to choke him. What is this? Billy Joe Travis with a guitar. Travis, look at him sneaking out of here after pounding Lawler in the top of the head with a guitar. The referee with a count of 3, and Embry has beaten the King, but you saw exactly how he did it.
He didn't do nothing, fat boy. Just like I said I wouldn't. I pinned the King so.
It almost sounded like one of those fans was mic'd.
God.
You could hear everything he said through the DDT, DDT. Like, Jake Roberts is not in there, dude. Settle down. Like, what the hell?
Take that, fat boy. That's the exact line I was going to use. Was one of those fans mic'd? Like, maybe he left Michael St. John's mic over there on a chair or something, and that's what was picking it up. But I like that, it appeared Eric had the balls to come out there and do it. But what happened makes me more than believe. I don't even have to see the footage from this coming Monday night, because I already know Lawler is going to get handed a guitar by one of those Nunnery brothers, and he is going to light Billy Joe's ass up with it. That's where this is all going.
Yeah. It feels funny because our match that we're trying to sell tickets for is Lawler versus Eddie Gilbert for the 2 titles, but our main event angle plays into the singing contest at intermission with Billy Joe Travis, and Eric Embry gets a pinfall win over Lawler on TV, when right now he's more involved with all these other side feuds. So when this impromptu match happened, I don't remember it. I had no idea where this was going, and the ending kind of shocked me. I mean, it works, but it's just kind of like, whoa, what the hell is going on right here? Pretty stiff guitar shot too. It seemed like that guitar was not very gimmicked either, somewhat. But anyway, yeah, let's take a look at the. Let's go to our commercial break real quick. Then we'll take a look at the card, and we'll let BT say something before we do that.
All right. What I want to know is why that guitar hurt Lawler, but the one a few weeks ago didn't.
Thank you. Thank you. I originally thought that when I watched this, and I got so sidetracked, I didn't think to mention it. So yes, thank you for mentioning.
And I was in total shock, guys, watching Embry pin him. But I want to tell you, those 2 guys, their punches is 2 of the best in the business right there at the time. So Embry and bumping, Embry could bump like crazy. So I liked it. I liked all this stuff, and I liked the guitar shot. It was hard. Spoiler alert, it has something to do with Monday night, as y'all figured it out. But I don't think I don't know what they end up doing. So,
do you think Billy might have been a little ill about him selling the guitar shot a couple weeks ago, making it?
Hell, I don't know. Boy, he hit him.
Feel this mug today, son. The other 2 things about Lawler that struck me in that match. We've been talking about Dundee's mullet. Lawler's got a pretty good mullet coming along here too. I didn't really pay attention until he had Embry set up for the pile driver, and they got that shot of the back of his head. And then the other thing I thought is like, all right, we are officially moving into the Lawler freaking era of wearing all these freaking flashy, weird colors. Like, he does it all through 92. I didn't realize we started it this early into 93, but here we are. He's got the fluorescent tights that are just burning your eyes while you watch it. He's got a mullet. It's 90s Lawler here. So let's take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to find out what the card is when we come back.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Tired of the same boring wrestling podcast? Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing? That's STSpod.club, and we got it all covered. We've got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the Southern fried brain of me, BT, steering the whole ship. We also have rolling into Memphis every week about the current Memphis wrestling. interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's SDSpod.club, or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama.
Many assumed that Memphis wrestling was dead when the USWA ended in September 1997. But by April 1998, a new era of professional wrestling in Memphis began. And now, the Retro Wrestling Archive is taking you back to 1998 to revisit the entire run of Power Pro Wrestling, one episode at a time. Every match, every promo, every wild Memphis moment, nothing gets skipped, nothing gets sugarcoated. If it happened on TV, you'll hear about it. Catch the Retro Wrestling Review Power Pro Wrestling podcast, live streaming every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central on YouTube and Facebook, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Don't just remember it, we live it.
All right, we're back. Let's see what the card is for Monday night that all this has been leading to.
For Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum, boy, what a night coming up down there. Beginning with the opening match, which should be, in fact, something to see. Tony Williams will be going against Eric Embry's driver, Tony, who we met just a little bit earlier. But I tell you what, you know, now we were out here. I frankly admit, when I saw Tony Falk coming out here, I thought, okay, here's Tony Falk, big deal. But boy, he jumped into that match and won it hands down. So he is going to be going against Tony Williams in the opener Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum. In the next one, it's Dundee Davis going against Bull Payne with Samantha. Danny and Bill Dundee were out here earlier talking about the situation with Bull Payne and Bill Dundee. And, you know, Danny and Bill being friends here and all of that, this makes for an interesting match against Bull Payne Monday night. Speaking of Dundee, the superstar will be going against Billy Joe Travis. See the guitar over on the right side of the picture right there. That has unfortunately figured into many of the matches recently of Billy Joe Travis. Bill Dundee will be trying to take the measure of Travis come Monday night at the Coliseum. A grudge match follows that. Dutch Mantell and Dirty White Boy will be teamed together to go against the flamboyant Eric Embry and Dr. Tom Pritchard with Tojo Yamamoto in their corner. You see that grin on Eric Embry's face right there. May not be smiling quite so much after Dutch Mantell and Tony the Dirty White Boy get a hold of him. Following that, World Tag Titles on the line. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller will be trying for the belts against the Texas Outlaws. This one, Jeff and Robert are very upset about the way the belts changed hands to begin with, and they will be trying to take the belts back Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum. That's not all, though. The main event of the night. Listen to this. Unified world title being put on the line by the King, Jerry Lawler. The global world title being put on the line by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. More about this match coming up later, but my goodness, you remember some of the battles that these two have had, and that's the main event Monday night at the Coliseum. It's the main event, but it's not the final match. Final match of the night, a lights-out match. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller have had a match. Eric Embry and Tom Pritchard will have had a match, but they come back non-sanctioned after everything else is over. Jarrett and Fuller going against Embry and Pritchard in Eddie Marlin's revenge match.
All right, Eddie Marlin's revenge match. All right, guys, let's talk about the show. What was your least favorite part of this week's show?
Seeing Eddie Gilbert walk out there with that Southern heavyweight title. Like, I was such a nerd back then that I knew I'd recognize that belt, and I knew because I watched Global, it was not one of those belts. And it, you know, that kind of stuff used to piss me off. As you know, I know that's weird being a 9-year-old kid, but those specifics mattered to me.
Glad it wasn't just me, because I'm the same way.
And the fact that they just nonchalantly, you know, here, go out there with this, they won't even remember. Well, I know if I remember, then the kid that's 4 or 5 years older than me, he definitely remembers, because a lot of his favorite people in magazines had people posing with that fucking belt. You know, a lot of those gimmick tables you were referring to had pictures with that fucking belt. I don't know. That was just so careless in my eyes. Like, to surely fucking Ron Fuller had a belt in Knoxville. They could have, Robert could have went and borrowed or something from that USA promotion that he had just a couple years before. That's where the tag team titles came from.
Exactly.
I'm thinking. So why not get one of those belts? But the most familiar fucking belt in the territory he brings out.
BT.
I guess I'm gonna pick on them Nunnery brothers. I didn't like that. That's about the only thing I didn't like about the whole show. So,
all right, what was your most favorite part?
I did like all of the Eric Embry and Tom Pritchard stuff, and them attacking people, and Tom wrestling in the chaps. That was just hilarious to me. I don't know why, but I think Billy Joe Travis was overshadowing that whole situation on this one. For whatever reason, Billy Joe dragging Chris Frazier over there. Who's your favorite wrestler? Tell him who it is. Say Billy Joe Travis. He was like, you are. I laughed so hard at that stuff. And then coming out there and hitting Lawler with, I imagine Billy Joe being in Nashville like Friday afternoon. I want you to take me on a tour of the Gibson manufacturer where they make the guitars. And he's like, what's the hardest wood you got? Make me one of them double layered, because I'm going to crown the king. And he came out there, and I mean, it was a thud. It wasn't any kind of crashy sound. It sounded like dropping a book bag on the floor.
And the bottom didn't bust out of it. The whole thing broke from the handle, like from the neck, is what really stood out to me. Like, it was rough.
Yeah, that's one of them guitars that made Jake smoke crack. If you listen
right.
to his shoots.
Honky Tonk Man has a lot of fun with that accusation too. BT?
Yeah. I'm going to say Lawler and Gilbert at the desk. I really love that. I think it's because I know the belt's not the one, and they were confused about what the belt he is defending is. But man, I love Gilbert against Lawler. I love this whole idea that if they would have went with it, Gilbert would have been the king and so forth. I love it when he says your time is up. I just love all that. Yeah. But yeah, that's my favorite part.
All right. Well, the burning question, would you buy a ticket to this week's show?
I would. I want to see the result of Lawler and Gilbert. Even though I was pissed off about the belt, I still want to see the result. I want to see the, Eddie Marlin's revenge match, Uncle Danny's match. Just it seems like it's going to be a pretty good card.
I agree. I'll go down there. You got Dutch Mantel, you got Bill Dundee, Billy Joe, Gilbert against Lawler. Fun show. Looks like a fun show. Embry and Pritchard in 2 matches. So, yeah, I'm going to.
And I think Uncle Danny versus Bull Payne's probably going to be an underrated match that they wouldn't have got much time on TV, but in the Coliseum like that, I bet that was a good match. So, yeah, I'm going with y'all. So, BT, tell us what happened and what you have that surrounds it, if you have anything.
All right. I don't have much. I'll read it. It's kind of convoluted, but that's when it comes to the finishes, we see that sometimes. 10-7 card, Memphis at the Mid-South Coliseum. No attendance number. Driver Tony beat Tony Williams of the New Kids. Bull Payne drew with Danny Davis, so they got 10 or 15 minutes there. And you're probably right. That was a damn good match. Billy Travis pinned Bill Dundee after hitting him with the chain. Dutch Mantel and Tony Anthony beat Eric Embry and Tom Pritchard by DQ when the Texas Outlaws interfered. Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller regained the USWA tag team titles, beating the Outlaws. Jerry Lawler kept the USWA title in a title versus title match with Eddie Gilbert when Eddie was DQ'd. The finish saw a ref bump, and then Travis hit Lawler with a guitar, which shattered in the ring, and Travis then hid under the ring. Gilbert, who didn't see Travis hit Lawler with a guitar, had Lawler pinned when ref Frank Morrell came to and saw the pieces of shattered guitar all over the ring and DQ'd Gilbert when he found when he found Travis hiding under the ring.
He found shattered guitar in there.
Yeah, and then Gilbert then got mad at Travis because he never asked him for his help and actually ran Travis off and said over the PA that he wanted another match with Lawler for the title, and he didn't ask for or want any outside interference to beat Lawler. The finale saw Jarrett and Fuller go to a no contest with Embry and Pritchard.
Why
There we go.
Get a lights out unsanctioned match for it to go to a no contest?
I have no explanation about it. Like I said, we got used to that in 1993 when we had no contest on Texas Death or something. So
yeah, that's so frustrating. Well, I know we're running short on time, so let's move right into it. STSpod.club. What's happening this week, BT?
Oh, every day we do the Shiznit Minute, talk about the current wrestling scene. We celebrated Boogie Woogie Weekend. I mentioned that earlier, but and we're celebrating all episodes. Memphis in May. Memphis then and now, guys. Look at the Facebook page. It's going to explain. Shooting the Shiznit changes a little bit. So we had rolling into Memphis, and I want to tell you, I keep saying this, but Tim Bosby, God, he had one of the best matches of the year on TV in the main event Saturday. So if you haven't seen that show, just I think it might have been top 3 of that Memphis wrestling, of that incarnation, if you will. That's it. That's what's going on. Lots of stuff, but we're going from 2 episodes a week to 4 episodes a week. So follow along.
P3 Radio.
That's right. So I don't have much to say about P3 Radio because it was just a best of episode. But here's what I want to say. The 3 stories that they ran, man, it's 1 hour of just laughs. If you don't laugh, that is a good taste of what P3 Radio is all about right there. Good way of doing it. I thought it was funny that Richard, at one point when he first started, he was in that DJ mode with his voice.
Mhm.
And then finally by about midway, it's like he just gave it up and quit doing, his DJ voice. But I thought 3 of my favorite stories, by the way. So brotherly treatment might be with Teddy Bear. It's one of my favorite, and it's funny because my wife's a chiropractor, so it even makes it funnier. I told that story originally, and she said, "What the hell was that preacher doing?" And I go, "He was saving a soul. He had the power, man." But good stuff. Go out of your way, listen to it, and if it don't make you want to listen to it weekly, then it's called "Don't Look Back," episode 456.
Check it out. And I just want to comment right here real quick. You're talking about the Richard's voice, the game show voice, or whatever what you call it there. I know
Radio
DJ. I know that Richard was working this week, shooting some promos for the comedy show and everything, and he sent them over to me and Josh. Man, it is a damn crime that Richard Mulligan is not working in the voiceover business.
I agree too. I agree 100%.
Commercials, just anything. Man, just a great sound, very professional, like just top notch. And like, I think if nothing else, if he ever gets time when he, gets caught up on some of the side projects he's got going on, he needs to start a little side job of like offering to do jobs like, making promos and stuff for people because he's fucking great at it. Just want to,
great.
I know, just wanted to take a moment to put Richard over. I know a lot of times, we joke around and BT buries him every chance he gets.
I'm not burying him today. I agree with you 100%. Great. Him and Josh did a lot of commercials for me, and Richard did some solo stuff for me too when we first got started. He just got so busy. But yeah, great voice. I give him hell about being a radio voice. But yeah, I agree 100%. So
absolutely. And then, of course, you can check out everything we got going on in the world of the Retro Wrestling Archive at retrowrestlingarchive.club. We've got this show. We've got the Power Pro show. We've got all kinds of fun stuff. We've got Rob Helt's Beyond Wrestling. And, man, it's getting a lot of great reviews. He's done some pretty cool interviews so far. We've seen Tommy Rich, Rip Rogers, Jamie Dundee, and he's got a big one dropping this week that I think people are going to really enjoy. And it's going to give you some insight on a person that you've heard from a lot, but you may not necessarily know his backstory. And I actually sat in on that one and produced it. And man, it's a very interesting one. Don't pass this one up. And I know he's got some fun ones lined up for the future. So make sure you check those out. And if you want to check them out early, along with all the other content we have, you can do it at patreon.com/Retro Wrestling Archive, along with some shared content with BT, as well as some exclusive content that we only post there. Same for BT. He has some shared content with us, but he's got tons of exclusive content over at patreon.com/ShootingTheShiznit. And of course, you can check out new episodes of EPW Wrestling. The TV show is now called EPW Wrestling Unleashed, and you can check it out over at EPWWrestlingMS.com. And if you want to interact with us, of course, you can always check out the Facebook page, but you can also join our Facebook group now that we have called the Neutral Corner Lounge, where we just kind of talk about what's, our favorite memories of wrestling and some of the shows we've got going on both networks. And you can come in and interact, let us know what you think of the shows we reviewed. You can let us know what you think about the review show itself and things you would like to see in the future. So thank you all who have joined it, and share it and get some more folks in there to join it with us. And so right now, as we get ready to sign off, I do want to say very quickly on Boogie Woogie weekend, since this is Sunday, that in real time yesterday, I spent the majority of my day, ironically, with Handsome Jimmy Valiant and my buddy Neil Taylor. Neil was helping run Jimmy's booth at the Tupelo Con, so I hung out there with them a while. We went and had lunch together at Steak and Shake, which Handsome Jimmy was super excited about. But even more excited than Handsome Jimmy was to eat his garlic cheeseburger at Steak and Shake were the people there. He took pictures with everybody in there. Cooks was coming out, getting pictures with him and everything.
Awesome.
And everybody was super respectful. They waited till he got done with his food and was on his way out. And then they come over, and he was just the nicest damn guy in the world. Okay. Now, I don't take back any of the things, I said about, different things as far as pertaining to work and wrestling and work rate.
Patreon.
That kind of shit. At the end of the day, work rate doesn't mean shit. It's about how guys get over and how they make people feel. And being there with him yesterday, watching him interact with the fans who were coming up, we had tables side by side during the wrestling event. And so I seen his interaction with every single fan. They had a packed house for the show that night. And when he came out, the place come unglued. And so getting to sit there and witness how he makes people feel, how he treats them, how, just absolutely respectful. It makes them feel like the most important person in the world in that moment he has with them. You can't deny that. All right. Maybe I don't get it, but the point of wrestling is being over. I've always said, and that's why, I never fell into the trap of work rate and it's all about 5-star matches, because that's bullshit. If you can pack a house and you can make everybody get on their feet and they love you, it don't matter what you're doing. You go there and fart into the microphone. If it's over, it's over. And if it makes people happy, then you've done something. And he's done it for over 60 years.
Jesus
that man
Christ.
has been
I got
wrestling.
I got a question about Handsome Jimmy. You had worked him a few times. Did he remember you?
He said he vaguely remembered it, but he also told us he had 15,000 matches. Him and his wife sat down and figured it up, and they figured around the range of 15,000 matches. I doubt he remembers 2 or 3 matches he had with me and Neil Taylor. One was in front of outside of a volunteer fire department. The other was in a parking lot of a furniture store in Batesville, Mississippi. So I'm sure he didn't, but he treated me like, I was his best friend the whole day. And when I got ready to leave last night, oh, brother, it's so good to hang out with you and everything. Take care of yourself and all that. And so I felt like a real piece of shit for everything that was said on page. We never said anything personal. We never knocked the guy personally, ever.
The reason I asked that was one time, and this was when he came out with the book. He was doing every show he could and trying to sell the book. He was an Osceola for MCW, and I guess we're talking 15, 20 years ago. I worked a few shows with him in Gibson, but when I passed the gimmick table, I said hello to him, and he said, Gibson, Tennessee, right there. And I was like, yeah. And I could not believe that he actually remembered me. So I wondered if I guess 83 years old, his memory's a little lacking.
83, 15,000 matches. And I mean,
Yeah,
can you imagine
15.
all the people he's encountered.
That don't
Good
impress
Lord.
me. 15,000. Everybody can do 15,000 matches. Shit, Josh did 15,000 this weekend.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that
Awesome.
it was kind of ironic with all the Handsome Jimmy talk that's went on recently, and of all the people in our little circle here that ended up spending a whole day with him, it was me. And so it kind of shed some light on some things. And so it was cool, man. He's one of the nicest guys ever. And I can't imagine. I mean, at this point, I haven't lived that long. I can't imagine wrestling for that long. So it's pretty cool. So, that between hanging out with Jimmy Valiant and getting the unified title, and I got to meet Oswald from the Drew Carey show, and
That was awesome. I love that picture, by the way. Love that picture.
Got to see Brian's boss last night. Took a picture with him. Got to take a picture with the legendary David Cox was in the building last night. So quite the day for old Gino yesterday. Wish y'all could have been there.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Did you talk to Dustin giving me a raise or something? Did you say anything about that? So.
I said, can you give Brian a raise? He said, who's giving him money? He got really heated. He grabbed the phone and started yelling at Maria. No, I'm just kidding.
Kayfabe.
Mike Anthony had a match last night with DJ Brown.
Oh, man, I bet. He's so good right now. He is right on the edge. He needs to be in 10A or somewhere, really.
Mike Anthony and Tim Bosby, to me, are two of the top wrestlers anywhere right now. And Marco Harris is pretty close behind him. I think he's getting there. So, yeah, there was a lot of great talent there last night. So really, really cool show, fun day. And I guess that is going to be it for this edition of the podcast. You guys got anything else before we get to BT's signature line here at the very end?
Love my mama.
See you next week on the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast.
If you love classic wrestling, then you need to visit the Retro Wrestling Archive. This is where pro wrestling's past comes alive. We're talking dangerous conversations with dangerous Doug Gilbert and Tommy Wildfire Rich. No filters, no holding back. Beyond Wrestling with Rob Helt, where the stories go deeper than the ring. YouTube Retro Wrestling Roulette, where you never know what forgotten gem is coming up next. Retro Wrestling with Gene Jackson, featuring interviews, deep dives, and stories you won't hear anywhere else. And Inside EPW, taking you behind the curtain of EPW Wrestling, one of the top independent wrestling promotions going today. Plus, the backbone of it all, the Retro Wrestling Review podcasts. Continental, USWA, Power Pro Wrestling, and even the CWA series exclusively on Patreon, all broken down week by week, match by match, exactly as it happened. And speaking of Patreon, you're missing out if you're not joining us there. Head over to patreon.com/Retro Wrestling Archive, where you'll get all of our shows, days and sometimes up to a week early before they release everywhere else. Plus, exclusive content like Retro Wrestling Recall, Ride-Along Ringside Watch-Alongs, and Is It Really That Bad? There's even a tier that gives you access to our private Google Drive packed with rare wrestling footage you won't find on YouTube. Bottom line, if it happened in wrestling, we're preserving it. Find everything, all the shows, all the links at RetroWrestlingArchive.club. Retro Wrestling Archive, preserving wrestling history.